Okay, I want to use Mike's homework here to show you how I really appreciate having a complete driver that tests all the methods that you wrote. Some folks, I think, just threw me methods and there wasn't any testing plan or any indication they had done testing. So let's look at an example here and how Mike submitted his work. So he started off, of course, declaring everybody, including the array of int nodes. Now, some folks said, well, I didn't really understand that they wanted an array of things back. Maybe I'll make these parameters in problem number 6 where you had to send back 2 things. But if you had read through the int node class, they did this a couple of times, right? So the list part method sent back an array of int nodes. Okay, here they are being declared, and these are references, because an int node in Java is always going to be a reference when you new int node it. And they generated the information and then stored them in the elements of the array and returned the array. They did it again down here with not list position or list search. If I passed it, there were 2 places at least. Saw them sending arrays back. So list part, and also here in list copy with tail. All right, so they were sending back the head and the tail pointers in an array. So I expected to see that, and putting them as parameters, nah, I don't know, felt gunky to me. Sometimes they weren't even clearly showing up in the order of the parameter list as something that was being affected by the function. So I like the fact that Mike was using arrays here. That's the short of it. Here is building the linked list. And, actually this can get even a little shorter in terms of compactness, right? Just pick that up, put a comma here in the update field of the for and tuck it in there so all the updates are happening together. And all you're doing is add node, add node, add node. So he stuffs in all his data. Now, print X through Y did not want you, in my interpretation, to read all of the numbers in the list and print them out if they were in the value range X to Y. It was asking you to print all the integers, no matter what their value, if they were located in positions between X and Y, which means you had a whole different set of testing conditions to consider. And that's what Mike has here. So he has different values for X and Y, different times that X relation to each other, X is less than Y, X is bigger than Y. He has tested for different locations. If X occurs in a position before Y, if Y occurs in a position before X, he has a test case checking if X is equal to Y. So that's really useful, and that's actually how I want to see you design your reports when you send information back. Even if the problem says write a method, the implication is design the method, document it, have testing data, show the testing data works. And so let's have that as an understanding going forward. Okay, that'll help a lot. The same thing happens when you go down here and look at how Mike did the split test. Okay, so he had a method he wrote called divide list, dumped in a spitting value. That would be a splitting value, and then dumped out both of the lists, both of the pointers being returned in array elements to make sure that everything had worked at the end. Great job, Mike.